A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Now Thomas, also known as Didymus, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and put my finger where the nails were, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe." A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Thomas said to him, "My Lord and my God." Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." The Gospel of the Lord. I think that St. Thomas sometimes gets portrayed as a little bit of a bad guy, too much of a bad guy. He's forever saddled with the nickname Doubting Thomas because of this scene in the gospel I just read to you. We presume, I guess, doubt in a particular sense, that he doesn't want to believe or he can't come to believe what happened. But what if his experience, what if his doubt is something different? What if it's connected to his experience of Good Friday? What if, after having gone through the pain, the suffering, the trauma of seeing his teacher, his mentor, his friend scourged and crucified, he needs to have that experience make some sense? He can't just put that experience away without second thought. What if Good Friday has to have some meaning for St. Thomas? Thomas is good at understanding two different aspects of the same question. The resurrection is connected to death. Easter Sunday is connected to Good Friday. Something must die before it can be transformed and come back to life as something new. And he also makes his declaration, "My Lord and my God," which affirms both Jesus' humanity, my Lord, but also his divinity, my God. Why is this so important? Well, this kind of double understanding, I think, is essential to the Christian life. Let's think back to Peter. Remember, on Sunday, we began the mission by hearing the gospel about the Transfiguration. And Peter's instinct on seeing the Transfiguration, on seeing this wonderful vision that appears before him is, "Lord, it's good that we're here. Let me build you a tent, 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah." And I pointed out that Peter's impulse is that as he sees this wonderful, this good, this profound event, he wants it to last forever. He wants to embrace the vision that he sees, and he wants to continue to experience it for as long as he can. But he also puts his finger on a profound truth. And this profound truth is linked to this double vision I've been talking about. And the profound truth is this: that joy and suffering are closely connected. Peter wants to build the tents because he has been made aware of the reality that this vision is going to end, that he's going to have to come back down from the mountain, that he's going to have to go back into the drudgery of everyday life, that this wonderful thing he is experiencing is limited, and that the joy of it cannot last forever, at least not yet. If you permit me, I want to tell a couple of personal stories that exemplify this principle, that joy is connected to suffering. It's about two people. First is about my grandfather, who growing up was very much my hero. I have all these great memories of my grandfather. He would take me out to his construction jobs in New York City. I have this great picture. I was about 5 years old, sitting in a steamroller. It was pretty cool. And I remember my grandfather supporting me. I liked to read a lot, and he really encouraged that. I remember that. I remember him encouraging my abnormal interest in politics at a young age. And we would listen to talk radio together, and we would talk politics. He took me to my first Notre Dame football game. He always had a connection for tickets, but he could never go because of work. But then when I became of age, he finally accepted the invitation and drove me out there. You know, I fell in love, and I wound up going to Notre Dame, and I wound up becoming a professor of political philosophy. I don't know how he'd feel about me being a professor, but the point is clear, right? He had this deep influence on me. And so one of the most painful moments of my life was his passing. It was painful in proportionate to the depth of my relationship with him. His passing was so hard precisely because the relationship was so deep. And after he died, my great uncle kind of picked up the slack, and I already had a relationship with him, but we developed a closer relationship, and we had the same kinds of deep conversations, and he supported me, but he would also go out of his way. You know, both of us like to eat. And in New Jersey, you know, I keep talking about New Jersey. I love New Jersey. But in New Jersey, we take our pizza and we take our hot dogs very seriously. It's very important things. We have very good pizza, we have very good hot dogs. And my uncle knew all the best places. He knew all these hole-in-the-wall kind of, whether it was a hot dog cart or some family-owned pizzeria, he knew all this stuff. And every time I met with him, it was like a new adventure that we would go on. And we would find one of these places and we would enjoy ourselves. And he passed away just a few months ago. And I had a similar experience to that of my grandfather. This sense of profound loss, precisely in proportion to the joy I had when I spent time with him. How often are the most painful moments in our lives connected to the things and the people we love the most? We might say the proportion to which we allow ourselves to be vulnerable is the proportion which we can suffer in experiencing loss. But to have this kind of experience through a Catholic lens, one might say through the eyes of St. Thomas the Apostle, who is always searching for the double meaning, a whole new world of vision is open to us. We Catholics believe that in the good things of this world, family, community, conversation, good food and drink, fellowship, we experience a taste of what is to come. The good we experience here is a reflection of God. One might say that we have a sacramental worldview. We are able to see how the goods of this world point to truer, deeper realities. This is important. Of course, we don't enjoy God perfectly in this world. We enjoy the things that point to Him. But this does at least two things. First, it enables us to avoid two extremes. The one is where we just don't enjoy the things of the world at all. We have a very severe outlook on life. The other is that we enjoy the things themselves, but we forget the one to whom they point. And this is one of the important reasons we give things up during Lent, to remind ourselves of the good thing, the greater thing, towards which these good things point, to remind us of God. But it also gives purpose and meaning to our lives, that our experiences here remind us of the reality of heaven, the reality to which each of us is called. This kind of worldview, seeing the deeper meaning in things, seeing how things point to the deeper reality of God, reminds us that we are pilgrims as long as we are on this earth. We are not supposed to feel too comfortable here. The instant we feel too comfortable here, we have forgotten our dignity. We have forgotten the greatness for which we are made, unity with God in heaven. So, if this is why the double view is important, the sacramental worldview is important, because it reminds us of the meaning of our creation, what concretely does it mean for us now? It means that we are called to radical vulnerability. There's an old song that goes, "They will know we are Christians by our love." We are called to ratify that statement. How, concretely and specifically, is my life right now different because I am a Christian? In a world that is so polarized and torn and vicious and broken, how do I reflect something different? Am I a Christian just because I adhere to a particular set of beliefs and practices? Of course, those things are important. But we also have to ask, how does my embrace of Jesus lead me to live more radically, in a way that is compelling to other people? How am I acting to be a kind of sacrament, myself a sign, who points to Jesus Christ, who points to God, who points to the deeper reality for which we were made? We are called to behave such that the people who interact with us are reminded of Jesus and are aware that it is He who is the ground and motivation for our life. This can become really difficult. Loving people is hard. Loving people constantly, day after day, is hard. It can become tiring, and it's not always reciprocated. And so how do we maintain the strength? How do we maintain the courage to continue on? We gain it from the reality of our own needs. St. Catherine of Siena says that even the smallest sin against an infinite good, God, requires infinite reparation. That is, Jesus. Even the smallest sin against an unblemished good requires the sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross. Put another way, all of us, no matter how virtuous we are, require grace. All of us require God. All of us require one another. Sin is the great equalizer. We are all in the same boat. We all stand in the same need of mercy. We all stand in the same need of communion. Jesus, give me your eyes. Help me to see the way that you do. Help me to see the good. the good in the people I love, the people I care for, but also the people who are different from me, the people I disagree with, the people who get on my nerves. Jesus, give me your hands. Help me to do the things I need to do to help other people, to make their lives easier, to reflect you in my actions. Jesus, give me your heart. Help me to love like you, and in the good that I can see in others, help me to see it as a reflection of you. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends. For everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last, so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. This is my command: love one another.